the morning. You'll be gone without warning. All the best players have gone out on loan. He's getting sacked in the morning.
Good afternoon, sports fans, and welcome back to Sacked in the Morning, the football podcast that I don't have anything this week.
Right, football co-pass that's on an international break.
Yeah, actually, that's thematic. So yeah, let's go with that.
Currently, as of time of recording,
you should be hosting this show, not me. What am I doing? I don't. I am your host. That's the one. I am your host, not him.
Did you forget
me.
who you were, Sue?
I forgot how this show went for a moment. I was like, how do I do this one?
Football, Richard. It's about football. This show.
It's about football, this one.
Yes.
What was this one? The horror movie one? Yeah. So, ooh, scary.
Most scariest football matches.
Scary of all time. Yeah, no, I forgot how I introduced this one. So I was like, do I go to them? Do I say me? No, yeah, it's me. So I'm your host, Richard, and I am joined this week by Tom. Hello, Tom.
Hello, Rich.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, enjoying.
Oh, loving the international break.
Yeah.
I have not watched a football game for a whole week.
Awesome. That's
how much I love international football. The last football I watched was Horsham against Barnsley in the FA Cup.
Me too.
And I only watched the first half of that.
I watched it all, but the first half was pretty much all you needed to watch.
The first 10 minutes was all you needed.
After that, it was pretty much done. So it was academic. So, and I am also joined by Thelan. Hello, Thelan.
How we doing?
How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm alright.
How are you enjoying?
I unfortunately did. I mean, I watched England-Malta, and it was like ranked as one of the worst games of football I've ever watched.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't watch it. It sounded terrible.
Great.
They were saying on BBC it should be at least a 5-0 win for England. I was like, no. It'll be like 2 or 3 and up here. And then lo and behold, it was 2. That was it. Yeah, I think this game...
definition of going through the motions was how I would sum up Friday's performance.
Sounds like a great game.
I think the game tonight's going to be a bit more tougher, I think.
Wembley only had 60,000. It wasn't even sold out.
Still a lot of people for
Malta.
Yeah, I mean, most of them are Maltese.
Yeah. They decided it's their only opportunity to go see England.
Yeah, that's probably what it is, isn't it? It's like when you want to go and see your club now, you got to try and just, I need to go watch them play, Peterborough.
Do you really want to splash that big money to see Jordan Henderson and Harry Maguire play football? No.
I think it's just that. Probably a lot of kids on school trips. That's what I
sounded
did.
It sounded like it in the stadium. You could hear very high pitched.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the England game I went to go see was a school trip. So, and it was a nothing game.
It's one of those games you think would be easy to get tickets for, don't you?
Yeah.
Malta at home. Yeah.
Well, anyway, on that exciting, upbeat note, Tom.
That kind of links into my topic because we're going to be talking about England anyway.
Oh, so okay. Well,
that's fine.
Okay, good.
So first of all, obviously England are playing tonight against North Macedonia in a European qualifier, the last one. So I got that coming up next year, and today is the 1-year anniversary of the start of the 2022 World Cup.
Okay.
It started a year ago today, so we're going to be talking about the World Cup, sort of.
Okay. Timely.
Yeah. So obviously the next World Cup is in 2026.
Yeah.
Partly held by USA.
Mm-hmm.
Which was incidentally the last time England failed to qualify for a World Cup was 1994 in the USA. So that could be an omen. Hopefully not.
It was the Euros 2000.
Euros was 2008. I'm talking specifically World Cup. Yeah.
Okay.
So that was the last time we failed to qualify for a World Cup. Was 94.
Mm-hmm.
So I've kind of thought how England would have done if they'd qualified for that tournament. Now, obviously, the first thing you think is badly. With Graham Taylor in charge, but shall we have a look and see?
Okay.
Exactly how they would have got on.
He's worked it all out.
I've got a lot of stuff here written down.
Okay.
So England's qualifying group, they finished below Norway and the Netherlands.
Okay.
And finished third in their qualifying group. So they would have been... I mean, I don't know if you want to say they finished second or third, but I'm just going to say for argument's sake that they could have done an either. So Norway qualified as top. They played Mexico, Ireland, and Italy in the group of death, where all four finished on the same number of points. But Norway got eliminated because they didn't score as many goals as the other three. And remember, this is the time where you could finish third in the World Cup group and go through.
Right, okay.
Because it's the same format as the Euros is now.
Okay.
So I think this group it would have been harder for England to get out of than the next one I'm going to talk about.
Okay.
So like Mexico, Italy, and Ireland is a pretty formidable three.
I mean,
it's a pretty tough one.
You say that, but you'd like to think that they could finish above Ireland, right?
Yeah, I'd say at least finish above Ireland. Italy were pretty crap.
I was going to say Mexico aren't exactly. I mean, Mexico had some decent players, but they've never had a great team, have they?
Well,
no. You've also got to factor in the heat.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is that why Mexico would do so much better? Just because they're used to that kind of, especially in LA.
I mean, they finished top of the group, but it was just barely on goal difference.
They'd have
so
more
I don't think it
supporters
really
as well, I guess, right?
Counts. They have more supporters, yeah, definitely. But I think in the other group, Netherlands group, Netherlands finished top of a group with Saudi Arabia, Belgium, and Morocco.
Okay, yeah,
so
we definitely
you think
should
that
have,
group would have been a lot more manageable for
England. At that point as well.
Yeah, you would have thought they would have finished above Saudi Arabia and Morocco.
Probably Belgium as well.
Maybe Belgium as well. Belgium did beat
point.
Netherlands in this group as well, to be fair.
Local derby.
Yeah, big local derby. They wanted it more.
Yeah,
that's it. There you go. Yeah.
It was the weather, wasn't it? Belgium is notoriously way hotter than the Netherlands.
So yeah, I mean, they probably could have got through both of those groups. I don't know, but
given that it's England,
I wouldn't take anything for granted being England.
Yeah. But before we get to the knockout stage, I'm gonna
because you'd have expected us to beat Iceland, and that didn't happen.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah,
in the famous Euros.
Ridiculous.
On a side note to your question, so obviously Ireland were on the high after their performance in USA '94. Do you think it's more of a damning indictment the fact that they then failed to qualify for Euro '96?
Talking about Ireland.
I'd have to look at what their qualifying group was, but yeah.
I mean, I would say that the Euros would have been. They would have been harder to qualify for at that time, right? Because there were fewer teams. Was it 16?
16. But you had teams in the Euros that didn't qualify for the World Cup. So obviously England, Czech Republic, Turkey.
I mean, England qualified as hosts though, didn't they? So that's not exactly.
Oh yeah, of course.
But what I mean is, if '94 is considered like the breakout tournament for Ireland, they would have then would have considered themselves, to go
they
into to
probably
be able to qualify for the Euros.
To qualify for the Euros, they probably would have done, but obviously it didn't pan out.
I mean,
do you think that actually did as much damage as the good that '94 did?
I would say it's not really that big a deal because
they're still a small nation.
Yeah,
I mean, they had a good crop of players. Don't get me wrong, but still a small.
I mean, it's like that's like saying, well, Wales qualified for a Euros and then they didn't qualify for the World Cup and then they qualified for a Euros again, right? So it's like, would you say that was a poor performance, or would you say, well, they qualified for 2 out of 3 tournaments? That can't be that
Plus,
bad.
The Euros is easier to qualify now, isn't it? With
Now
24 teams, it's easier than the World Cup to qualify for. At the moment,
I would say that as an Irish fan, you'd probably be pissed that you didn't strike while the iron was hot. Capitalise on the great performance from the World Cup. But then you could also look at it and say, well, maybe the World Cup was a fluke.
Yeah, because their qualifying group for Euro 96, they had Portugal, Northern Ireland, Austria, Latvia, and Liechtenstein.
I mean, Portugal had a good couple of players at that point. They were just coming breaking through, weren't they? Luis Figo, Rui Costa. So that would have been a tough game, I imagine. That would have been the main. I guess Portugal finished above Ireland. Did Ireland finish second?
Yeah, so Portugal finished top on 23 points. Ireland finished joint second with Northern Ireland on 17 points and went through on goal difference. 1 point ahead of Austria.
So was that World Cup or was that Euros?
Euro 96.
Euros.
So did they go they went to a knockout then, I'm assuming?
Yeah, they went to a playoff.
Right,
just seeing who they lost 2-0 they lost to the Holland.
Oh, well then there you go. That's pretty.
To be fair, that's
I'd say that's respectable. I mean, I would say out of that qualifying group, Austria have always been a pretty okay team. They've never been awful and they've never been great, but tough. You know, they can beat teams.
They qualified for France in '88.
Yeah, I would always say that Austria is one of those teams like. Historically, maybe not so much now, but historically, Bulgaria is another one of those teams. You know, it's they're tough. You know, they're not. Yeah. You're not going to roll them over. Switzerland, another one. Historically, you were never going to roll them over, but they could beat someone. You could beat them, kind of thing. So, I mean, to finish above Austria, I would say was a pretty good achievement, and then to get knocked out by the Netherlands, that's
I mean, you look at the team Ireland have got now; it's very, very poor. Very lacking in star players at the moment.
Now.
Compared to what they had in the 90s and 2000s.
I mean, you'd say 2000s was a Damien Duff, Robbie Keane, Roy Keane,
Ian Hart,
Shay Given.
Yeah.
There was some big players in that Irish team. You would have thought that would have been the time that they would have capitalised on something.
I mean, they always got to a quarter-final but lost on penalties, didn't they? So it's not... didn't do that badly.
Yeah.
But yeah. Moving on to England.
Yep.
So I'm going to read you a list of every player that played in the qualifiers.
Okay.
And then in friendlies up to the tournament, and you give a yay or nay as to whether you want to take them.
Whether they're in the squad or not.
Yeah, basically.
I like that. Yeah. Okay.
So your goalkeepers, David Seaman.
Yeah.
Was it still a 22-man squad then, or had it been increased to 24?
23, I think.
No, it would have been no way. It would have been 23 by that point. 94, no way. No. 23 only came in like the 2000s, something like that, didn't it?
Oh, did it? I don't know.
Was it a 20-man?
I don't even think it was 22. Yeah, I think it was probably less than that. I don't think it was you can take two teams. I think it was 20 players.
Because it only expanded when the World Cup expanded in 2002 when you could take more players, I think, at that point.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to keep track of this then.
Because keep track if you want.
Yeah, we don't want to take too many players.
Should we split the difference and say 20 players?
Yeah, let's say 20.
Yeah, go on then.
Let's say 20 with two reserves, yeah?
Reserves.
Right, so,
to cover injuries before the tournament starts.
Yeah.
So
I've got a feeling it might have been 18 players, but...
Yeah, I don't think it was even as much as 20. I think that it was really tough. I think it was like a really sharp... Yeah, let's say 20 and two reserve players that you can put in reserve but that aren't coming on to play. Right.
So I'm just talking about players that actually played, not ones that are in the squad. I'm not
giving a shit about that.
So are you including substitute appearances?
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. So David Seaman was pretty much established as the number one at this point.
Yeah.
So we're going yay on him.
I'm definitely saying yay on him, right?
Yeah,
that's got to be. Yeah. So that's one player each. Okay.
Yep. Chris Woods, who was playing for Sheffield Wednesday, I think, at this point. It's a hard one because I never saw him
down, wasn't he?
Yeah, I never saw him play week in, week out, so I can't really judge.
Career at this point.
Yeah, he started the qualifiers and then got taken out halfway through.
Yeah, I would say no, probably not.
I'm going to say nay as well.
Yeah, but then I've only got 3 goalkeepers written down. So
if it's only a 20-man squad, I probably only want to take 2 anyway. I don't want to take 3.
Yeah, you only want to take 2 goalkeepers.
Yeah.
So the last goalkeeper who didn't play until after the qualifiers were done was
Martin?
No.
No? Wow, okay.
Was Tim Flowers.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. I'm happy with that.
I would have taken him. I mean, Blackburn were on the verge of winning the title.
Yeah, I'm more than happy.
I was wondering if you were going to say Flowers or Nigel Martin. It was going to be one of those two.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be Martin, but I didn't think Flowers had come onto the scene.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Ian Walker was in contention at this point.
No, we were still... 94, we still would have had Torsvek.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. He's the only one I can think of other than for the Euros. He was in the squad, wasn't he?
I think Walker stepped in 94. I think that was when he made his debut that season.
Well, I've got it written down, so...
And then, I think he made his debut for us in 94.
Okay.
Yeah, because he didn't really make his proper England debut, really, until the qualifying for 98 World Cup, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, he didn't make his debut until that Italy game, did he? Where Zola scored that goal against him.
That's what I mean. So he didn't really... That's what I mean. So in terms of like coming into international football, it wasn't until then.
I think he only had like 6 caps or something like that. He really didn't have that many. There was a lot of players ahead of him, wasn't there? So
good generation.
We had an absolute stream of goalkeepers at that point.
Yeah,
I always thought Nigel Martin was pretty good.
Yeah, I always thought he was great. Good goalkeeper, wrong generation.
I always thought he was unlucky to come around when he did because he had to deal with Seaman and Flowers.
Yeah, he was great for Leeds.
Yeah.
So defenders then.
Okay.
Lee Dixon.
Yeah. I'm going to take him. Yeah, you're taking him, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
We'll get the other Arsenal.
I'm going to put him in reserve.
Okay. Oh, Phelan's gone 1 reserve. Okay.
Actually, no, I'll come back. I'll just do it in order. Gary Pallister. Man United at this point.
See, this is the problem: is you don't know who's coming up. Because if you've got Tony Adams is definitely coming up, surely, and then Steve Bold probably would have been coming up at some point as well.
I would take Pallister.
So Phelan's taking Pallister.
I probably would have as well because I think he was playing regularly at this point. There's one big centre back who shows up in Euro 96 who isn't even in the list.
Gareth Southgate?
Yeah, he's not even on the list.
Yeah, I don't think he's really that big a deal yet, is he? He's probably still
at Palace.
Yeah. Well, who else? So there's definitely going to be Tony Adams.
Yeah.
Maybe Steve Bold.
Yes.
And then who else is there beyond that? I don't.
Well,
there's no Campbell at this point.
No, so I would take Tony Adams.
No, Campbell.
Well.
Yeah, no, Campbell. Tony Adams, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm going to go, I'm going to say no on Pallister.
Okay.
So I'd take Pallister and Adams.
Because I think league champions at this point.
Yeah, but I think if Steve Bruce is coming up, I'm taking him over Pallister.
Yeah, he's not, though.
Okay,
he never played for England, so...
Did he not?
No.
Really?
No. Never.
Wow. That's
strange.
Surprising.
Yeah, very strange.
Okay.
No, never played for England.
Who else is coming up? There's going to be someone I'm like, who? So, yeah.
You got another Walker. Des.
Oh, Des Walker. Yeah, I'm taking Des Walker. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think he's probably in the twilight of his England career at this point, but he will start in the qualifiers.
Yeah.
Are you taking Walker?
I'm not.
You're not taking Walker. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Tony Adams.
Yeah, of course I'm taking Adams, yeah.
Yeah, we said that, yeah.
Phelan's taking Adams, yeah?
Just going to try and go with centre-backs at this point.
Okay.
Martin Keown.
Oh, wow, okay. I wouldn't have thought he would have...
No.
He didn't play a lot. He's just mainly subs.
No.
See, that's the problem, is I'm thinking about Martin Keown over his career, not in 94, 93, 94. Point, I don't know what he was like at that point, so...
Okay.
I mean, I would say Martin Keown, yes, but then in 93, 94, he would have been like, what, 22, 23, and he wouldn't have been great.
I don't think he reached his peak until Wenger took over.
No.
No, I wouldn't take him.
No, I'm not taking him either.
Probably say no as well.
I think I'm very short on defenders.
I've got 3 at the moment.
No, you've got 4 at the moment. I think you're fine.
3.
You've got Pallister,
Walker, Adams,
Walker,
and one in reserve.
Adams.
Who's the one you put in reserve? Oh, Dixon. Yeah, Dixon.
Yeah, he's my reserve.
Okay.
Steve Bold didn't play in any qualifiers, but he did play in friendlies after. So I wouldn't pick Steve Bold either, to be fair.
No.
But hey. Stuart Pearce.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's no brainer, really, isn't it? Yeah.
Everyone's taking Pearce, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No brainer. Paul Parker.
No.
I'm gonna stick him in reserve.
Yeah. Again, a player in the twilight of England.
He's coming towards the end,
point.
and I think I just need a defender.
Tony Dorigo.
No.
Rob Jones.
Isn't he Welsh?
No. Played for England. As his name was written down.
I don't even know who this is. So.
I would say injury withstanding. I would have said yes, but he's very injury prone. Played for Liverpool.
I need a yes or a no, Tom.
If he wasn't injured, yes.
Yeah,
I don't know whether he's injured or not. I can't determine.
I don't know.
Say that he's fully fit. So yeah, I would take him, and then that's my back five.
Okay, Phelan's taking
So
him.
you haven't heard of Rob Jones? Have you heard of David Bardsley?
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's the last name.
But are you taking Rob Jones or not? You're not. Okay, fine.
So these other names didn't play in the qualifiers, but played after them. Graham Lasso.
See, again, I'm thinking of Graham Lasso over his career, and I would say yes, but
yeah.
I don't know what he's like in 93, 94.
On the verge of winning a world title, a league title. So I would say yes.
Oh, yeah, he was a Blackburn, wasn't he? Yeah.
No, for me, it'd too early.
Yeah, I'm. If it's 93, 94, then probably not. No, but if it's Graham Lasso 97, 98, then yeah. But
no, I'm happy with my back five.
Okay.
How many have I got? So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've got
5.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Think going to this detail.
I've got 4 defenders and 1 in reserve. So I want to hear the rest of the list before I make a decision.
Right, you've only got 3 defenders left.
Yeah, go on.
These defenders all didn't play until after the USA 94.
Oh, okay. So
they played literally in the friendlies afterwards.
Okay.
So Steve Howie. Really mayor on that one. Neil Ruddock.
Ooh.
And Barry Venison. It's a no for all of those for me.
Yeah.
I'd probably go with Lasso over all of them.
Yeah, definitely. I would have picked Lasso, yeah.
I'm going to go with Lasso.
Yeah, I think he's a more younger player coming up at this point. About to win a league
title. He's my Theo Walcott.
He'd become a regular left back at this point. So midfield then.
Okay.
Paul Ince.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we've all said yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So despite England failing to qualify, David Platt was the top goal scorer in European qualifying in this group.
Yeah, I'm taking Platt. Yeah,
so,
of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So there. Yeah. So this is when it gets a bit more murkier with the names. Is it Stuart Ripley? Is that his name?
No, it's Ellen Ripley.
Ellen Ripley
she's from
Alien. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. From Blackburn.
No, Stuart Ripley is his right name, and no, I wouldn't take him.
No, I wouldn't take him either. Andy Sinton.
Nope.
No. But just thinking about it.
Do you know what? Because I know how good he was in the early to mid 90s. It's only when he got to Tottenham that he turned rubbish. There's a reason that we signed him, you know?
Yeah, and
him and Rule Fox were 2 players that were like massively hyped up, and then they got to Tottenham and it was like, oh, so we ruined them. Okay, great.
Yeah, no, I'll always remember the sentence being like a hugely disappointing signing, and I'll never get past that. But we all had high hopes for him.
He's not at Spurs at this point, so
Is it QPR at this point?
Yeah, but if
I
memory
think
serves,
so.
who else is on this list? I wouldn't take him over some of these.
Yeah, I'm going to say no.
There's a lot better players coming up.
Yeah, I'm going to say no.
Carlton Palmer.
No.
No, definitely not. Very Graham Taylor pick, this one.
Yeah, that is a very Graham Taylor signing.
Lee Sharp. I was quite surprised how often he played in qualifying.
I'm going to say on Lee Sharp, I think. I think he gives you a little bit of something different, yeah.
I'm not 100% sold on Lee Sharp.
You still have 2 reserve.
With how he was at this point in his career, I would definitely take him.
I would, he gives you something a little bit different.
I think this is an interesting point as well because there's the young Man United generation of players isn't in the squad yet at this point. So you've got no Nevilles, no Beckham, no Scholes.
Yeah.
Obviously, both the Nevilles went to the Euros, but they're not in the contention at this point.
No, not at this point.
So there's not a lot of Man United players in this.
I'm not picking him just because he's Man U. I think he gave you something a little bit different at that point. You know, he's a little bit more tricky.
Showbiz.
Yeah. Well, he gives you an option, doesn't he? You know, sometimes you need that player that can just run at a team. You know, sometimes you need that.
Give you that injection of pace towards the end of the game that can just do something.
Don't know if McManaman is there or not yet. I'm not sure.
I think he was.
Kind of. We'll get into it later.
Right. Okay.
So we'll talk about showbiz. We'll talk about Paul Gascoigne.
Yeah.
It's obviously unless he's drunk off his tits, then he's going.
I mean, even if he is drunk, off his tits, I'm still taking him.
I'm still taking him.
He could turn up to at the airport, passed out, and I'd still be like, get him on the plane.
Yeah, pretty much. I know Glenn Hoddle wasn't having any of that, but I
think that unfortunately he's one of those players, like a bit like Maradona, that you need to just kind of try your best to get him off of it and just be like, well, look what he can do. I mean, it's so sad. I really wish he was clean and sober, but genius often comes with a downfall, doesn't it? So
George Best. So that leads nicely into the next name. Considering what we just talked about, alcohol, drugs. Who would you say is next? I've got written down.
Gary Lineker. Oh, wait, no, sorry.
Yeah. Absolutely. Gary. No, it's not Gary Lineker. Obviously, Paul Merson, Paul Merson is the next one.
Oh.
Who played quite regularly as well in qualifying. I was quite surprised.
I'm going to put him in reserve at the moment.
Yeah, he's in my maybe. Which is surprising because it's an Arsenal
So
player.
you're putting him in a reserve as well? I'm going
to put him in reserve.
Can I swap?
Of course you can swap.
That's what I'm going to do, depending on what I get later.
Yeah, I might swap him for
Sharp. I'm going to put him in reserve.
But I'm going to hold judgment for the time being,
Another player coming to the end of his England career a little bit, and John Barnes.
Oh.
No, not now.
Yeah, I mean, even for Liverpool, he wasn't. I remember when I started watching football, I used to think he was pretty average when he was playing for Liverpool. But he was towards the end of his career.
Towards the end of his career,
at that
point. I wouldn't take him.
Yeah, it's another maybe for me.
I think it's another maybe for me as well, to be honest with you. Yeah, I'm
not taking him. I always just remember watching England play around that time and thought that he never really did anything particularly great for England. Outside of scoring that goal against Brazil, he didn't actually really do a lot for England. Always been very underwhelmed with his performances.
Yeah,
start of his career, he was very good, absolutely amazing. You know, has he? Yeah, he's at Liverpool at this point, right? He's not. He's not at Newcastle yet, right?
Liverpool.
No,
when I started watching football, he was playing for Liverpool. That was nice.
But then even in that Liverpool team, I mean, I would say that McManaman's a better player than Barnes at this point.
I feel like by this point his legs had gone and hadn't transitioned very well to being more of a passing playmaker than
I think that happened more when he got to Middlesbrough, wasn't it? That was when he kind of got a little bit more comfortable with the distributing role, the sitting player.
Yeah.
That's what he was doing at Liverpool in '96, just playing midfield.
I don't think he mastered it by that point, had he? I still think he thought, I can still take players on, I'm still that 22-year-old tricky winger.
Yeah.
I don't think it was till he got to Middlesbrough that he was a lot more comfortable in that role.
Because it was about this point when Liverpool started trying to transition him into that, and he just didn't have the awareness around him to be able to kind of slow it down and pick the ball out. I feel like literally his legs had gone, and he was much as he wanted
he didn't want to believe his legs had gone, I don't think, at that point, though, had he?
Yeah, people like Redknapp and McManaman had definitely passed him by that point in terms of work rate on the pitch. Yeah. So for that, I wouldn't take him in a World Cup squad.
I think it would either be him or Merson. There is no way I would take both of them.
No, 100%. And if I'm in an RN on taking Merson, who can get round the pit and who can do it.
Yeah.
So hence why I've got Merson.
The only for me on Merson is that he's a drunk that's not as good as Gascoigne.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, if he could do what Gascoigne could do, then I'd be like, I'd overlook that, but he can't do what Gascoigne can do, and for him, it's a little bit more.
Also, with Merson, when does the press conference happen when he breaks down in tears? I can't remember. It's 94 or 95, isn't it?
Yeah,
94,
it's
95,
it's before 90. It's the season leading into Euro 96.
Oh, is it? Okay. I would think it was 95 because everything fell apart for Arsenal that season.
Yeah, kind of that summer.
It was before Wenger got there, right? So
it was.
George Graham got sacked for taking payments, and we finished 12th in the league and lost the Winners' Cup final. So I imagine it was that year.
Yeah, 95.
Probably.
Yeah.
David Batty.
I've already got Paul Ince, so I'm going to say no.
I'm saying yes for David Batty.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many midfielders have I got? Sorry.
Oh, I'm not keeping track of specific positions. Sorry, I'm
tallied.
literally just keeping a count. 5, 10, 12 plus 2 in reserve, but obviously your reserves you can switch out, can't you? So.
Okay.
So I've got 5 midfielders at the moment.
I think we're all going to end up short, actually.
Is there not that many people left?
Not a lot of strikers, and there's 5 midfielders left.
Okay.
And these 5 all started playing after the qualifiers.
Right, so we got, I'm guessing, McManaman, Anderton, Redknapp, maybe. Who else is in midfield?
Beardsley not playing the qualifiers.
Does he count as a midfielder or as an attacker?
Who?
Peter Beardsley.
Well, he's in the list, but I've got him as an attacker.
I would say he's probably more up top than in midfield, right? I mean, later on in his career. Oh, okay. Okay, so he's taking Beardsley, but he's playing him in a different role. All right, okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Darren Anderson.
That's fine, because I just added to my list of my strikers.
Darren Anderson played in the first game after the qualifiers.
So I would definitely put Anderton in my list because I know that everyone seems to slag on him and everything like that, but I do think he was a very, very good right midfielder at that point. And a lot of people also forget that he actually played in midfield with Beckham. Beckham didn't replace him.
Yeah, so, I would take Anderton as well.
I probably would as well, even though I'm not his biggest fan, but he was in a regular starter in the Euro 96 team, which, did really well, so I can't say no.
And I feel like he was the inverted midfielder before inverted midfielders become cool.
Yeah, I think that he was a very gifted player, and I think that had he not had as many injuries as he had, that he would have been completely
he'd
different.
Been a much bigger star.
But the thing is that, I don't know, he seems to be an unfashionable victim of injuries. He's not one of those tragic ones. He's one of those, he's such a loser ones, and I don't get why. It's like...
Kind of the same with Redknapp a little bit, I think.
Maybe just because they played for Tottenham, and maybe it's just fashionable to beat up on Tottenham players. I don't know, but...
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Redknapp had injury issues before he got to Spurs.
Yeah, but then if he just stayed at Liverpool, then people would have been like, oh, it's just really unlucky what happened to him, isn't it? But because he went to Tottenham, it's just like, loser.
Yeah, fair.
I kind of feel like I don't know why we get such a bad rap. I mean, there are teams in the league that are worse than us. Why do we get such a shafting? I don't get it. But anyway, yeah. I think Anderton is a much better player than people give him credit for.
I'm picking him. Dennis Wise.
Nope.
No.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards no at this point. I think later on when...
he's just a
discipline
worse
problems.
Paul Ince. Yeah, he's just... I've got Paul
discipline
Ince. I don't need Dennis Wise.
I would say
You don't
late
need a
90s
knockoff
is
Paul
probably
Ince.
his best.
Yeah, he's
right
the
now.
Paul Ince we've got at home.
Yeah, we don't need the knockoff Paul Ince.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm saying no at this point.
Yeah.
He does, I think, like late 90s is his best period.
I don't
Even then, I still wouldn't have taken him. No,
he went to a Euros.
No.
I think Euro 2000.
I think he just happened to be in a pretty decent Chelsea team at a pretty decent time that made him look better than he was.
Maybe.
The definition of being in the right team in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I think that he
somebody made him captain, so he had to play every game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think that he was the best FM up midfielder in that Wimbledon team. Vinnie Jones was better than him, so it's like,
Fair enough,
and then he went, no, not at all.
I'm saying no as well. Yeah. Okay. Kevin Richardson.
No.
Who's playing for Coventry at this point. Again, a player in the twilight of his career at this point. No, definitely no. The last two who didn't play until after USA 94, Rob Lee.
Okay, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely a maybe for me. And Steve McManaman.
I mean, Steve McManaman, absolutely, yes. But do I know about him at this point? This is the problem. You say what's he doing? Is he broke through at Liverpool?
Yeah, he's a Liverpool.
Yeah, but is he broken out
yet?
Yeah.
So I'm going to put Paul Merson in my team and McManaman as my reserve.
Okay. So that's one there and keep the reserve. That's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
How many does that give me now?
14.
Okay.
And what are we keeping the squad as 20 or 18?
20.
Yeah.
Okay.
20.
Yeah.
I am dropping Lee Sharp, taking Steve McManaman, and bring in Merson as well.
You're bringing in Merson?
Yeah.
All right.
Rob Lee, I'm going to stick in my reserves for the time being, but I already have Darren Anderton and Steve McManaman, so I don't really know how many right midfielders I need. Paul Merson can play out there if I need him to as well. So he's in my reserves, but I think he's definitely behind McManaman, and he's behind Anderton for me as well, personally, but...
Okay.
There we go.
I'm saying yes to both.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Okay.
McManaman and Lee, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And Dennis Wise as well,
No.
yeah? And...
No. I don't know. I always like Rob Lee. I don't know why.
I like Rob Lee.
But I like that Newcastle team. So...
I like Rob Lee,
yeah.
but I think I have McManaman, who's way better than both of them.
Yeah.
And I rate Anderton higher than Lee, in my personal opinion. I do like Rob Lee. I think Rob Lee's a great player.
And I think Merson can probably at this point do a slightly better job if I needed to right midfield than
I think Merson's versatile. I can play him in the middle if I need to, and I can play him out wide if I need to.
Same as Gaza.
Yeah.
You can kind of
Gaza
you can kind of swap them around as you need to.
Yeah. Like I think that. Yeah, I'm happy with that midfield. I'm happy with that. Yeah.
Okay. So on to the strikers then.
Okay.
7 names I have written down for strikers.
So we can pretty much take them all.
We'll start with Beardsley because you already mentioned him already. So.
Yeah, no, I'll take Beardsley.
I probably would as well.
Yeah, I probably would as well, to be honest.
I was a massive Peter Beardsley fan, to be fair, around that time.
He didn't actually play in any qualifiers at all. I don't know why.
Such a good player.
Isn't he? Is he coming towards the end of his career at this point? I mean, he's not that far off of joining Newcastle, right?
He's at Newcastle at this point. I think.
Oh, was he already at Newcastle?
He isn't.
He wasn't at Liverpool anymore, no?
No, I think he'd gone to Newcastle by this point.
95, 96, he was at Newcastle.
Midfield. Right. Okay.
Yeah, I think he was at Newcastle.
Because this is why This is why I'd pick him as a midfielder in this team, because that's where he was at Newcastle.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd take him anyway. I think he's useful for sure. You know, versatile again, like you said.
Very skillful player.
Yeah. Creativity as well. He's genuinely really creative, along with Gaza too. Like if you're looking for creativity in midfield, you've got Beardsley, Merson, and Gascoigne, and that gives you a lot of creativity in the centre.
I mean, I've got Beardsley, Merson, Gascoigne, and McManaman, so
yeah, exactly.
My midfield is just all skill basically, and then Paul Ince is just in there to break up. Paul, your job, wreck everyone. Everyone else, just do your thing.
Yeah. Unless you want David Batty to do that.
Thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
I left at Batty. I didn't take him because I said I got Ince. Yeah. I don't need Batty. I've got Ince. Yeah. Fair enough. No. And then if I need to, I'm pretty sure Paul Merson can mess some people up if he needs to as well, you know. So
100%.
Especially if he's got a bet on.
Yeah, exactly. Allegedly,
yes.
Allegedly, yeah.
Actually, no, I think it was proven, right?
That does show how kind of weak our midfield is, though, at this point, in terms of, like, physicality in there.
Yeah, I mean, you can have Batty in there if you want. I also think that you've got skillful players in there. With the exception of McManaman, pretty much all those other players can throw themselves around about if they need to. I mean, Paul Gascoigne basically, you know, used to wreck players, didn't he? You know, he was Paul Scholes basically, wasn't he? Just, I can't tackle, but I'm going to try.
But that's what I mean in terms of like that. So if you get a physical midfield team that run, that's probably where we'd be exposed a little bit.
Yeah.
I think Paul Ince was the best player we had at that point in midfield.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I might do a Pep Guardiola and put Stuart Pearce and Paul Ince in there together as my holding midfielders.
Stuart Pearce in midfield.
Yeah, he's just in there to mess them up. You know, he's my Philip Lahm. He's my Philip Lahm of
Interesting. Yeah, interesting.
If you were going through player instructions, their player instruction would just be break legs, snapshot lines.
Basically, you guys are in there just to mesh. That is your one job, and everyone else is the creative force ahead of you. You two just kill everyone. Just kill them all. That's my instructions. Okay, carry on. Sorry.
Right, the last Arsenal player in the list, Ian Wright.
Yeah, I'm taking Ian Wright.
So absolutely yes for me. Yeah, of course, obviously. Scored a hat-trick in the last qualifier against San Marino, but it meant nothing.
Yep. I think, again, another one of those unlucky players that just came about at completely the wrong time. Him and Les Ferdinand, I think, are two players that probably would have walked into the England team in the 2000s and 2010s. But it just came at the wrong time.
He probably would have gone to France '98 if he hadn't got injured as well.
Yeah.
So that's just unlucky as well in that sense.
But the problem is, I don't think he would have played much anyway in that tournament. Even if
probably
he went,
not. So. He would have went. But
in an interview, he said he was due to start up top with Owen. It was Hodder told him it was going to be him and Owen up front.
Well, Shearer was injured at that point, so I could kind of see him saying that.
I still think he would have gone Sheringham and Owen if that was the case. I think that
maybe.
I think that Ian Wright is too similar a player to Michael Owen. Not that they're on the same level, but they're both the player that want to go in behind. And it's like, now we've got no one coming to get the ball.
Yeah, and then Owen didn't start anyway, did he?
No,
Sheringham and Shearer.
It was Sheringham and Shearer that started. Owen came on in the
I would have.
game, was it?
100% agree with that.
Yeah.
We're all saying yes.
Yeah, we've all said yes to Ian Wright.
Les Ferdinand.
Again, I'm taking Ferdinand.
Yes
I loved Ferdinand. I thought he was great. Again, player that just came along at the wrong time. Wright and Ferdinand in the 2000s. They would have been brilliant for us at that point. They would have been starters, hands down.
I mean, Euro '96, he could have easily started that time. He had a great season that year for Newcastle.
Yeah,
couldn't get in the England team.
Didn't get a minute, did he, in the Euros? Ferdinand.
Same with Bobby Fowler, who isn't on my list. He hasn't started.
Has he broken out of Liverpool for yet? Has he? Or is it still?
Yeah, I think maybe starting to, but I don't think it's in the
I think the following season was his breakout season.
Would they still have had Rush and?
Rush was still there.
They did at that point.
Who would have been the other guy up top for Liverpool?
I was going to say Colin Moore, but it doesn't get
He
there.
doesn't get there till. That's the one. Thank you. Yep.
Doesn't get there till 95.
Yeah.
Alan Shearer.
At that point, obviously, he's at Blackburn, isn't he? Yeah, so he's.
Yeah. Obviously.
I can't even believe you even thought about that for a second.
I was wondering, was he still at Southampton at this point? Or no he definitely would have been Blackburn at that point, yeah. So, yeah for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. And Teddy Sheringham?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is your... Nope, you got one more pick, sorry, Phelan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I've only got 2 names left, so...
That's what I said, we could pretty much take all the strikers, which is going to be really top-heavy.
And I would be surprised if anyone picks the next player. Nigel Clough.
No.
No.
No, he was literally just came on as a sub late on in games. Like, I don't think he started.
I don't even think he was ever really good enough to be a professional, personally. But I don't.
A bit harsh.
I never really thought he was that good. I thought it was all because of his dad, basically.
Played for Liverpool.
Yeah, but he was rubbish.
I think he's another one for me. Like, I didn't really see him play week in, week out, so I can't really judge. But I'm just gonna say no.
I mean, if you've done Clough, then there's obviously not going to be anyone better than him.
I would say in terms of his England career, he's a nobody, but in terms of as a footballer, he's definitely not a nobody.
Okay, Chris Sutton.
No, he's not Chris Sutton. Okay. But it's another valid shout though. Matt Letizia.
Oh yes, 100%. Wow. Okay, yeah. I didn't even think that. Yeah,
again, absolutely. But he'd be a midfielder for me.
He'd be a midfielder for me as well. Yeah, I would not play him up front. No, so my midfield is like super creative.
Same.
It's a yes for me as well. For Letizia.
There's like no runners in there whatsoever. Phelan, you saying yes?
Yep.
That's your full 20-man squad.
Okay.
Me and Tom have both got one player we can take. So I might just stick my goalkeeper in there. Screw it. Take 3 goalkeepers, whatever. Maybe I'll take Palace.
Okay. I don't know who's in my reserves. I can't remember now.
You've only got 1 reserve.
Have I? Who's that? Well, he's going in then, isn't he?
Is it Rob Lee? I think it was Rob Lee.
I've got one player. He's going in here.
Okay, so you got... I'm pretty sure it was Rob Lee.
I think I said yes to Rob.
Well, I'll take Rob Lee as well. I've got 1 player. There you go. That's my 20. I've got so much midfield.
I didn't think we'd go into this detail. All I wanted was a yes or no.
Yeah, but I wanted to make sure we didn't overload our squads. There you go.
There you go. So
I've got 2 goalkeepers, 5 defenders, 4 strikers, and the rest midfielders.
Yeah, I've got like 8 or 9 midfielders. Yeah.
It's kind of strange going through it because it's like it's just before Euro 96, but after Italia 90, so it's kind of like in the middle ground.
How did that team not qualify though, man? There's some good. I'm guessing a lot of them were young and old.
A lot of good players in that.
Yeah, but team. A lot of them were at the beginning of their career, and a lot of them were at the end of their career, weren't they? That was the problem.
I think the reason why we didn't qualify is what brought up earlier, our soft midfield. In terms of being run at, got after, you can get after that midfield and dominate and really kind of boss the game.
I mean, the manager is the
manager's the main reason. Yeah, obviously. I mean, he was good for Watford.
I mean, you've got Shearer, Gascoigne, David Platt, Paul Ince. You know, looking at some of these names, we should be qualifying really.
Oh yeah, hands down, 100%. But I agree with Phelan. I also think that if you look at that midfield, I mean, I've got loads of creativity, but only 1 player that can really throw their weight about a bit. And I don't really have a lot of legs. What you say, maybe Platt is probably the most mobile player I got there. He's genuinely box to box, but other than that...
Yeah, I was going to say.
Would you say there's anyone else in there that's got legs?
Quite in midfield.
In my midfield.
You don't talk about wingers.
I mean, Anderton's not a...
McManaman.
McManaman, again, can't defend for crap.
No.
Who have I got on the left?
And bearing in mind at this point, 4-4-2 was king, so it's like you've got holes everywhere.
Yeah. I'm probably going with 5 in midfield, though, to be honest with you. I've only got like 4 defenders and 9 midfielders. So I'm gonna go with 5 in midfield.
I mean, looking at the list, there's a distinct lack of left midfield. I guess Anderton.
I mean,
or Sinton.
Sinton's left-footed.
I don't know who else is left-footed.
I mean,
is Lee Sharp left-footed? I don't know.
Lee Sharp is ambidextrous, but predominantly a right winger, isn't he?
Lasso would have played
Lasso is left. I mean, he played left midfield for like a lot, running into Euro '98, France '98.
France '98.
He played left midfield a lot. I remember that with was it Steve Froggatt? He played there once.
Steve Guppy.
It's definitely the Achilles heel of the team at the time, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think that's why I'm not really playing proper wingers. I'm going to stick Letizia out there.
Yeah, maybe that's a decent.
Yeah, I was going to say that's what I would do.
Anderton's.
Did McManaman play on left wing in the Euros?
Euro '96.
No, was it Anderton or McManaman?
No, Anderton was right.
Anderton was right. McManaman was left.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But I think I want McManaman on the right, because that's where he's better. I'll stick Letizia out on the left.
McManaman played right for Liverpool, right?
Yeah.
And it was who played left? Well, Patrick Berger, I guess.
Well, before that it would have been Jason McAteer, wouldn't it? Because he's left-footed.
Oh, right, okay.
Phil Babb, is he left-footed?
I don't know.
Anyway, yeah.
Shall we find out how England would have got in the knockout stages that they got there?
Okay, we need to speed it up though because you've gone.
Okay, right, fair enough. So, Netherlands, if they qualified instead of the Netherlands, they would have played Ireland in the second round. But they're beating Ireland.
So either way, England would have played Ireland in this World Cup.
Yeah.
They'd have played Ireland in the group, and if they'd have,
If they finished where Netherlands in
Ireland from World Cup '94, no, they don't beat them.
I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
To be positive.
I'm going to say that Ireland at that tournament, no, they don't beat them.
Okay. So it's tough because Norway didn't get out of the group, so I don't know if I can count.
Oh, there you go. See.
I don't know if I can count anyone else from the other group as going through. I can read you if you want, but we're short for time. I'm not going to bother.
So we're going to say basically England would get out if they finished top and ended up in the Netherlands group. They'd qualify from the group, then lose to Ireland in the next round. So
no, I would.
No,
say,
he doesn't say that. We've both knocked them out.
Say that.
I'm saying me and you were saying that. So just to
how far do you think they're going?
Well, the quarterfinals they're going to play Brazil, so they're going home.
Right. Okay, well there you go.
And then Norway didn't make it out of their group, did they? So they lost on goal difference.
But you can't. So
where did Mexico finish top? So
England would have played Bulgaria if in that case.
Again, with Graham Taylor in charge, I don't think they're winning that game.
I don't think they are either.
No, going up against Stoichkov at that time. Yeah. No chance.
No, I think they lost to Bulgaria. I think Bulgaria had a good thing going on in that World Cup. Obviously got to the semi-finals. I think they would have beaten
England. No, they wouldn't. They would not have beaten Bulgaria. They'd have bullied England out of that tournament.
Yeah, because, I mean, Bulgaria, they've got Stoichkov, who's decent. You know, he's a quality player, but then they've got a lot of other players that are going to do the work for him.
That's basically what I mean. They'll just bully England like a lot of teams.
Paul Ince and Stuart Pearce are holding up well. You know, Paul Ince, Stuart Pearce, Tony Adams, those three are doing all right. You know, but one of them's going to get sent off, and then I'm done.
So the other route from the Norway group is Italy. So England would have played Nigeria.
Okay, I think they're winning that.
They'll beat
Nigeria.
I think they would have got through it.
I'm going extra time.
It's a tough one because Italy only just got through in that one.
I'd say that.
And if they got through, they would have played Spain.
Spain, early 90s. I think they're getting through that as well.
Yeah, so they could have made the semi-finals then in that case.
That Spain team, they'll beat that Spain team.
Yeah, early 90s Spain team, they were rubbish.
And they would have played Bulgaria in the semi-finals.
And then they would have been out.
They're out.
Yeah.
So there you go. I think quarterfinals they would have lost. And there would have been out. I think quarterfinals at maximum, probably.
Okay, well, I have a topic this week.
Good for you.
Yeah, yay. And we're going to go from the highs of Tom's to the bitter lows of mine. Yours was a nice, fun little topic. My one is depressing.
Please don't talk about VAR.
No, it's not. It's the international break.
Oh, yeah.
So much like Tom, and unlike Thelan, I have not seen any football this past week because, international break is a time for me to basically just shut my brain off and leave this plane of existence for a while. I have no interest in it whatsoever. So, my question to you, gentlemen, and to you, dear audience, if you'd like to weigh in on this, do you think the idea of an international season would be a good idea? So rather than like random weeks throughout the season that just break up like the flow of the league and everyone gets bored and no one pays attention and everything like that, have the season running from August till May, whatever it is, and then from June till August is the international season. That's where your international season is.
Players will not go for this.
But I don't care about the players right now.
Yeah, okay.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Plus, you got the Club World Cup. It's going to be a thing now, isn't it?
But that's what I'm saying.
What the World Cup? Isn't that effectively the World Cup and the Euros? Euros, though, really.
But yeah, we always do that for the tournaments already. Why don't we do it for the qualifiers and that as well? And the new, UEFA Europa Super Conference, Super Nations League. Why don't we, instead of having all these random weird breaks throughout the, where players have to go off like from the season and everything like that, have an international season, so your normal club season ends and then we move into the international season and then the international season ends and we move into the club season, So how many qualifiers are there? I was
going to say, in theory, you'd make every league season smaller because they wouldn't need to break for internationals all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. So the new season can start in September or end a little bit earlier because you're not breaking for the international breaks anymore, and then so say there's
5, isn't there?
Is it? I was going to say 8. Is there 8 international qualifiers?
It depends.
No, I was talking about 5 breaks. Sorry.
Oh, right. Okay.
I see.
Sorry.
So I was thinking about like how many qualifiers there are over the 2-year period.
8 or 10.
Yeah. So now that's 8 weeks. That's 2 months. I could do an international game a week, and then that's all my qualifiers done.
That'll be 4 weeks, wouldn't it? If it's 8 qualifiers,
no,
playing 2 a week.
No, but why do we have to play 2 a week? We can even just play 1 a week. If you're talking about the players, you just carry on through. And now I've done all 8 of my qualifiers for 2 years in 2 months. So now next summer I can have a break if I want to.
Yeah, it's an
before the
interesting
tournament
concept. Yeah, it's just finding the extra time in the season to do it, isn't it?
But we're not finding the extra time in the season. That's the whole point. The whole point is that we don't need to find the time in the season now because we play the club season.
Yep.
The club season finishes. We move into international season. And then the internationals get played.
When would you think is the best time to do this? Like right at the start of the season or right at the end?
So it'll be at the end. So like June, July.
Right.
Like traditionally where the tournaments go would be where your international season goes instead now.
Right. So
and then
June, July... Say, what are we in now?
I mean, you could even go into the first week of August if you really wanted to, but I don't even see a need to do that because you got like 8 or 10 qualifiers that you need to do.
Right. So at most it's 10.
Okay.
Depending on it, because there's an uneven number of teams, so there's slightly. So the most you play is 10. Most play 8 or 9.
Okay. So there you go. So
to answer
10.
your question from earlier, I just thought I'd look it up.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. So that's 10. That's 10 weeks I need to do over the space of 2 years if I need to. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure that you could play 2 games a week if you really had to. If you were in one of the groups that needs to play 10 games, then that's a midweek game and a weekend game, and then you don't play again until the next weekend again.
Yeah, so I don't know what they're doing with the playoffs again with Europe, because last Euros they did the playoffs in like March or something stupid like that.
Mm-hmm. The playoffs, I don't understand the playoffs this year. It's really complicated because your Nation League standing has something to do with your... I don't get it.
So if you qualify for the Euros in March and the tournament's in June, you've only got like 3 months to book your hotels and all this shit and training. It doesn't make any sense to me. And if you're a fan as well, like saving up for possibly that your team may or may not qualify for the Euros. Surely you want it all done earlier. So,
well, that's why I'm saying you can get all your qualifying games done in 1 year, and then that's it. You got a year off until the next tournament where you could do your Nations League if you wanted to, or your Copa America, or your under 17s, under 21s, whatever. You've got a year that you can fit all of those in before the tournament even starts.
It would. I don't know if that would work, because if you're going to do all the qualifiers across one summer, you get effectively you get a tournament every 2 years between the Euros and the World Cup. So you've then got all the World Cup qualifying to do as well. So that in between those tournaments, you're going to have 1 year of World Cup qualifiers, 1 year of Euro qualifiers, then the Euros, then the World Cup.
No.
So there's no empty space.
Let's make it nice and easy. So you're in year 0, yeah, and your tournament isn't until year 2.
Year 2. Yep.
That's your Euros, yeah? And then your next tournament, your World Cup, is until year 4. So now, in year 0, I've got all my qualifying done for year 2. So now, year 1 is free for whatever I want it to be for my international season. I don't even have to have one if I don't want to give the players a break. Then we have our tournament in 2. Then I qualify again in 3 for 4.
Yeah.
Right.
So I get all my qualifying done for... Yeah, and then I do my qualifying for 5 for the tournament in 6, and then I do my qualifying in 7 for my tournament in 8. So it goes every year. I get my qualifying done the year before the tournament. Yeah, it always happens that way.
All I'm saying is then you'll lose so you can't have like this Nations League because there's no dead space. Well, outside of 1 year, you've got no dead space, which is year 1.
Well, you don't need the Nations League.
I mean, you don't need the Nations League if you're doing an international season anyway, do you? Because all international games will always be having something on the line, won't they? They'll always be qualifiers.
No, it was just you can have your Nations League and any other tournament you want to.
I mean, you could technically have your Nations League in the qualifying year as well if you really wanted to, but that's a lot of games that you're now trying to squeeze in. Which I'm not saying you have to do that.
That defeats the object of what you're trying to do.
But I personally would get rid of the Nations League anyway, because you don't need it anymore. The whole point is that they were saying that we're having international breaks where teams are only playing friendlies, so therefore there's nothing on the line. That's why we're introducing this Nations League. So, but now all my international games
Euro qualifying.
But now all my international games have something on the line. There's always something on the line on my international games. It's always a qualifier. And if you really, really wanted to, you could do 2 games a week and have your Nations League game in there as well. Or you can get rid of qualifying entirely and have your whole qualifying based on your Nations League standings if you wanted to.
I mean, it's definitely an intriguing premise.
So, would the players or managers go for it though?
Well, no. That's the rub, obviously, isn't it? Because they're going to want their summer holidays, isn't it? But I mean, the managers, I don't see why they would have a problem, because that's the main time of the year when they work anyway is during the summers, isn't it? That's their whole point. Is that
yeah, but they'll start moaning about injuries, won't they? And players playing too many games. They already do it now, moaning about injuries and players playing too many games. They're stretched already. This argument.
But I'm still saying you're still playing the same amount of games. It's just now I'm not doing them during the season anymore.
Yeah, but
Clubs will complain because they lose out on pre-season tour money.
Of fixtures. You've added an extra month to their workload.
Well, you haven't though, because you take it back during the season.
Yeah, but they're training at that point anyway.
Yeah, but if you're not stopping the season for 6 weeks, you just add that in at the end. You just add that in. So you do that month at the end of the season. So
that's the thing,
and then you've got all of pre-season.
Yeah, so now, rather than, I play 4 weeks, I stop for 1, I play 5 weeks. Oh. So how are they proposing to fit even more club games in when they're already saying that we can't? See, this would make it even more better to have an international season as well, because, if you have got even more club games to fit in.
Yeah, and I don't know, the Club World Cup's going to be... No, that's not next year, is it? It'll be the year after, won't it? Next year. Oh, next year's the Euros.
25, I think it is.
2025, so I don't know how that's going to affect everything as well.
Oh, it's just... But UEFA apparently aren't going to allow their clubs to go play in it, so it's a whole bunch of hockey anyway.
Okay.
So is this not the same Club World Cup that they've been doing since... the 90s?
No, because it takes place a little bit like what you're suggesting for the international calendar. Rather than it taking place across the season, it's all going to take place at the end of the season in Saudi Arabia.
Isn't it 32 teams as well? It's basically
Something
a World
like
Cup.
that. Yeah.
It's basically a World Cup for club teams.
So how does that work? What's the qualifying format?
Nobody knows at the moment.
Just invite the big rich teams that are going to bring the most money?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds great.
It's a Super League without it being a Super League.
So yes, okay, so you're going to have even more club games. So therefore, an international break is even more unwanted, surely.
I don't know, I think...
The whole football calendar in general needs rewriting because it's a mess. Just across the board, so...
I kind of like your idea, but I just don't think that it's going to work. But I also don't like this international setup we've got at the moment, so... I mean, there has to be a better way to make it more entertaining for everybody. I don't know.
I mean, this is what I'm saying, because, international breaks for most people, I think, are something that most people find boring, tedious, don't really pay much attention to, unnecessary waste of time. Most people aren't interested in it anyway. So my whole point is I don't know, at least give them a choice, just say, well, now we're moving into the international season, Well, unless you have a situation where, in the US, for instance, where as a player you are contracted to the United States Football Federation rather than clubs in the MLS. If you are
rugby's the same, isn't it?
Is rugby the same way?
Contracts, isn't it?
Yeah, same contract to England, same as cricket.
So that'll be how that would work, but that's never going to happen in football now. There is no way that is ever going to take place.
No, the clubs have
too many players.
There's too many players.
There's way too many players to do that.
And the clubs can pay way more than the actual federation could. So it's well, why am I going to sign a contract for you for £10,000 a year when I can sign one for them for £250,000 a week? It's that's the only way you're going to get around that, but you're not going to get around that. So therefore, my solution is have it as separate international season during the summer where nothing is happening anyway.
But then, do you want a whole month of international?
I would rather that. I would rather that.
If you're saying that 1 week is bad enough, let alone having
but no. Here's the difference. 1 week during the season is different than 4 weeks at the end of the season when nothing is happening anyway. Those are two completely different things. I'm enjoying my football. Oh, wait, now we need to stop for the international break. Okay, well, I guess I'll pay attention again in 2 weeks' time. Okay, I'm back to it, and we're back into league. Oh, wait, there's an international break. I'll be away for a week, and then we come back into it. Or there's nothing going on anyway. I might as well watch the England game. I mean, I know that there's nothing going on during this week anyway, but the feeling is different, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying something. You can't have any more of that now. You know, now you've got to pay attention to this, you know, or, oh, there's nothing happening anyway. We might as well just put this on. Here you go. Watch it. Don't watch it. It's up to you.
Yeah, I get that from that.
You know,
fair enough.
I mean, maybe it's just me. Maybe there are people out there that freaking love international breaks and they're just like, oh my God, it's so fun and it's the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Maybe people out there cream their load for it.
The thing is, I don't remember when I first got into football having a problem with it at all. Like any football I've watched, be like, I could get my hands on.
I don't think I ever really enjoyed the international break, ever. I don't ever think I've really remember a time where I enjoyed it.
I was having this conversation with somebody the other day that when you go back and watch like how feverish we used to get about internet, I think it's because I was watching the David Beckham documentary, but when you talk about how like feverish the fans got about Euro 96 or World Cup 98 or even Euro
You're talking about
2000.
tournaments though.
No, but I'm saying just in general to add to like Tom's point, when our in England play, it's like, just in general as a country, it's not like everybody goes nuts, certainly not the way that I used to remember it. So I do feel like there's a different attitude from fans, probably towards Richard's point, that we're so invested in our club football that it's seen as an inconvenience.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing for me is like whenever anyone's asked the question, oh, would you rather England win a World Cup or Tottenham win the league? Tottenham win the league, 100%. Hands down. Never, ever, any other doubt about it. You could say England will never, ever win a tournament ever again.
Yeah, but a lot of
Tottenham
people
will win
the
the
argument.
league. And I'll be like, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I totally understand that.
Now,
yeah, I'm the same.
That isn't to say that I didn't enjoy when England have been successful. Like 2018, I really enjoyed. And the Euros, I really enjoyed. But I would still pick Tottenham over England any day of the week. And I think that's...
I think it's also because there's no belief that the England team will actually go and do anything.
I mean, they got close. I mean, we're saying all of this. I mean, the women won the Euros, you know, but... or was it... No, it was the World Cup, wasn't it? No, it was the Euros.
Euros.
Yeah, they got knocked out. They lost in the final of the
World Cup
final
final.
Of the World Cup.
Yeah.
Final.
Sorry, I get Euros and World Cups mixed up all the time. Like, how many times did I say Euro 98? Like,
yeah, I know.
You know, there's too many numbers. Yeah, so, I mean, obviously the women have been successful. So, I mean, there's that. We didn't really acknowledge that, did we? So, and that was cool. You know, I really enjoyed watching England actually win a trophy and be successful.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the other thing as well, is now you got women's international breaks as well. Where did they fall in the calendar? You know, they seem to be all over the place as well, don't they? So
they've got a Nations League now, haven't they, as well? So
there's going to be even more of them.
More fixtures for them now as well.
Yeah, but the thing that I don't understand about the Nations League is that determines the qualification for the Olympics. And that's a whole different ball game
different,
altogether.
Isn't it? Yeah, strange.
Do we enter a British team now?
Yes, only if England qualify.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awkward.
So if England qualify for the Olympics, it becomes Team GB. If England don't qualify, then there's no Team GB.
So Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland don't...
No, England are the default.
That seems like it could cause a lot of problems.
Not really, because England are far way ahead of those other three in
right.
terms of quality.
But would you also not have the inclination of going, well, why don't we count?
No.
But you're not Scottish.
Yeah, but
I get Richard's point. I don't understand it. I really don't
England
understand
are far away
the premise.
Yeah, I get that,
because
but flukes happen.
Because you can still pick Welsh players, Scottish players, and Ireland, and you know you can still
pick. About the team just got to a World Cup
Wales.
final and won the Euros.
Yeah,
which team are you picking?
Yeah, but also you are not. It's not made up of one country, so that is a very strong way to. other countries off.
So, 2 seconds. So, if England qualify, there's a Team GB of which Scottish and Welsh players are eligible to play for it.
I get that.
So, but I don't understand why it's just England and it's not Scotland.
Yeah, it should be
Wales.
all 4 of them.
Also, England are in the same Nations League group as Scotland. And I believe Scotland are bottom of the group.
England they got beat by Belgium, didn't they, the other day?
To me, that just feels like a recipe to the football federations off and to turn around and say, no, you can't have any of our players. Which I know probably wouldn't be like a big deal at the end of the day. But it's a really good way to federations off and fans as well. That's the other thing. Because you're basically saying, well, you 3 don't really count.
And
I know you're saying
it's realistic.
But, since when has patriotism ever been realistic?
But if Scotland, Wales and Ireland, Northern Ireland turn around and say, well, actually, it should be us, the other 3 are going to just laugh at them. Whichever one it is.
Well, why couldn't UEFA have said it's all 4 of you? Any 4 of you qualify and there's a Team GB.
I mean, it should be better done.
That's what I'm saying. That was my point. My point wasn't choose one of the other teams. My point was choose all of them.
Yeah.
That was my point. My point wasn't, well, it should be if Scotland qualified. No, it's if any of them qualify.
I'm going to flip a question to you now based on that, as we were on a small tangent. So, for Euro 28, only 2 teams can automatically go through from host nations.
Yeah.
So do you agree with the fact that none of the teams are going to go through automatically?
I mean, that's a difficult situation because I personally think that you should say the 2 weakest teams should be able to qualify.
I was confused. What the one we're holding was it 2028?
Yeah.
None of them.
The one that's in England.
None of them are qualifying. Automatically qualify.
No, because it's being held in England, Scotland, Ireland, and Wales, isn't it? There's games Northern Ireland. Sorry, there's games literally across the entirety of UK and Ireland.
I'm fine with that, to be honest.
So there's automatic qualifying spots for each tournament for when there's different hosts, but all of them have said they're not going to take the automatic qualifying. They're all going to attempt to qualify on merit.
I think that's more of an embarrassment factor than anything else. Like if England obviously turn around and say, well, we're not going to automatically qualify, and then if Scotland or Wales say it, then you can't be the other team that turned around and says, well, okay, we will. Because now it's more like you're saying you're worse than us.
Yeah, I think
there's an embarrassment factor to it.
I think England could have easily put their foot down and said, yeah, we're qualifying automatically. But I think they have the confidence in themselves to go for the qualifiers anyway.
I think it should be done on world rankings and say, well, the 2 lowest will automatically qualify. And then the other 2 need to qualify. Or, again, just say, well, all 4 of you can qualify automatically. I don't...
5.
Which UEFA won't do.
Is it Ireland as well?
Ireland as well.
Is it Ireland as well?
Yeah,
okay, I thought
that's
it was
what I
just
said. It's literally across UK and Ireland.
Well, then I would say all 5 of you qualify automatically then, yeah. I mean,
but then
it just seems like whoever doesn't qualify.
No, so for 5 teams to go to qualify, if all 5 teams qualify automatically, which 5 teams miss out across the rest of Europe?
Whichever 5 teams don't qualify.
Yeah, I get your point.
I mean, you don't have to pick 5 teams now. It's whichever 5 don't qualify. That's it,
I mean, we technically had this problem for 2020 in the sense that England, Scotland and Ireland had games hosted.
It was different though, wasn't it?
A little bit different, yeah. I mean, Ireland in the end had their games taken away from them anyway, and they didn't qualify. England and Scotland both did qualify. So they'd got to play in their stadiums.
Each other.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, maybe if you're ranked outside the top 20, then you qualify automatically then.
Yeah.
Because...
which I think 3 of them are anyway.
The problem is that they're small teams, so it is unlikely that they're gonna qualify automatically because they've been struggling to qualify for tournaments anyway. So it's unlikely that they're
Northern
gonna
Ireland
qualify.
or something like that.
Especially the two Irish teams at the moment.
And
struggling.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, well, now if I turn around and say, well, only two of you can qualify, and now I've opened up a whole can of worms because it's like you can't be the two teams. Would you also not say then?
Would you not find it more patronising if they turn around and said, do you know what? You haven't been here you've not been to one before. You can qualify automatically.
Well, that's why I said do it out of FIFA rankings, because then it's like cold and impartial.
But then aren't you then saying that your ranking's so low that you can't get there by yourself, so we're going to give you a spot? Is that not the same thing?
Yes, but it's also on the other point of it. If I turn around and say, well, out of you five, only two of you can automatically qualify, and then all the big teams say, well, obviously we don't need to. You can't then be the small team that says, well, okay, we will.
I'd be like, fuck you, I'm going.
I mean, I would as well, but you do open up the embarrassment factor.
Sorry, I'm looking after my own at this point. I'll be like, nah, mate, I'm going.
But then I don't think that you can do that. You need to save face, because you can't turn around and say, yeah, you're right, our team sucks.
I think they've probably done the right thing in terms of that.
But I also don't think that they have done the right thing as well. It's
it's the middle ground. I kind of selfishly want England to turn around.
You know what? We can't decide, so we're going to give the teams with the lowest world ranking, because that's basically saying the same thing.
Yeah, but at least that way it's like, well, we're doing it off of your previous 10 years worth of merit rather than just a random, you're not good enough.
Yeah.
You know, at least it's like, well, you've proven you've not been good enough, so, you know.
Plus, I think the rest of Europe would have just turned around and been about that we've got 5 spots sewn up already, so there's less chance of us to qualify.
Yeah.
So, I reckon the rest of Europe would have kicked up a stink about it, and that's why they've kind of turned around and said, okay, we'll qualify.
Well, here's another point. Why the hell do we even need to share with the other countries anyway?
That's a good point.
I mean,
very good point.
I'm not saying just give it to England. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying, well, if that's the case, I mean, because I think more and more of these tournaments are going to be shared between 2, 3, 4 countries,
cost.
just because of cost. Of it. Yeah. So the thing is either get rid of like home qualification for everyone, or put all of the home nations in, because you can't. I don't think this. Well, you know, here's a sharp stick, and I've got a space for 2 of you. Go. You know, you know, I don't think that works either.
Yeah, I think USA.
And the reason why I think they all pulled together was the bid, because it was Turkey and Italy originally were going to go against us, so it was a way of trying to say they're bringing in as many people into it. And technically, we had it in 2020, so you had to make the bid different.
I mean, Spain could easily host the World Cup, the next World Cup on their own as well, even though there's like 6 teams hosting it. Spain could easily host it on their own, no other teams involved.
It's just because it costs so much.
Yeah,
it's a mess.
So this is going to be the norm. But this is going to be the norm going forward now, because you got the small countries which are never going to be able to host it on their own anyway. Now they can chuck their lot in with a big country that can host it. Yeah. And the big country gets to go, okay, well, now we get to split the bill a little bit as well. So we're not paying. So this is just going to happen more and more and more. I don't think there's going to be another tournament after Euro 24.
Yeah, look forward to that one.
Where one is
Saudi Arabia.
Oh, Saudi Arabia's the next one, isn't it? There's going to be a one on its own.
34, World
Cup
in 34 is Saudi Arabia.
Okay. I don't know how they're going to build. They're going to have to build a lot of stadiums, because they've only got 2.
Yeah, but that's already been set. World Cup in Saudi Arabia.
Oh wow! I thought we were past all of this bribery stuff. Oh, sorry, shouldn't have said that. Probably should I?
Allegedly.
I don't think there is a right or a wrong answer to your question. I think that both ways give problems for one reason or another. Like, I think either let all 5 qualify or let none of them qualify, but then also Northern Ireland aren't going to qualify for the tournament by themselves anyway. I mean, come on, track record speaking, not. Republic of Ireland probably aren't going to. Scotland might. Wales might. But there's going to be at least two nations without their country there hosting games.
Yeah.
And that's what the fans want. The fans want to go and see their team hosting their tournament, don't they? They don't. You know, so now you've basically robbed it from the... I would have done it on FIFA rankings. I would have done any club, any country outside the top 20 will qualify automatically. And that's not your decision. That is ours. There you go. It's done. It's dusted. Gavel's gone down. All bids are in. There you go. You've got no... Because now you can save face and go, well, I mean, we would have been happy to qualify, you know, for our place. But, you know, the decision's already been made. And, you know, so they can save face, but, you know, also it's like a wink, wink, nudge, nudge to be like, well, we knew you weren't going to get there, were we?
If you were saying that the out of the 5, the 2 lowest world ranked teams would be the ones that qualified for Euro, it would be...
I would have said any outside the top 20.
Yeah, the 2 islands.
I would have said any outside the top 20. Okay, but yeah, so they qualify automatically. Yeah, so there you go. That's three clubs qualifying automatically.
So I mean, you've got, as far as rankings wise go, you've got England at number 5, Wales at 19. Where is it? Scotland at 45, Ireland are 47.
45?
Yeah.
I thought
literally got this on FIFA. I've got this on FIFA's website literally right now, and I'm struggling to find Northern Ireland.
They're going to be way down.
I thought Scotland would be like top 20 or 30.
To finish off my point, though. International season, what are we thinking? Yeah,
no.
You don't like the idea, no?
Good idea won't happen.
No, it won't happen, but I just wanted to find out what your...
Yeah, I like the idea.
You just said you didn't like the idea.
I'm just saying realistically it won't happen.
Yeah, but I know it's not going to happen.
But yeah,
because again, it makes too much sense.
I do like the idea, yes. But realistically it would never happen.
Right, well, fair enough.
Good idea won't happen.
I just, it's just an idea that, like, so in 5 years' time, when they actually do implement this, I can turn around and say, see, I told you they're listening to our show. Because, well, so far, like, what was something else that we said? I'm pretty sure there was something I said with regards to VAR that they've started to do.
Release the
They started to do stuff?
I don't think they did it in this country, but they trialled it in an international tournament. Like, it was either like the audio or...
Yeah, well, Women's World Cup, the referee spoke to the crowd like they do in the NFL.
Oh yeah, which was stupid anyway. Oh, we're gonna talk you through the discussion. No, you're not. You're just gonna come out and tell me what you've decided. That's not the same.
We're gonna show you the replays and show you why our decision we're making is wrong.
Yeah, and then
we're still gonna make the wrong decision.
And then he comes out offside, offense, 10-yard penalty, first down. That's basically what they did. Is that offside?
I mean, that one England game we watched.
No, that's personal foul.
Whatever. What's offside?
He puts his hand on his hips.
Okay, there you go.
Offside. Does a wiggle.
Offense, 10-yard penalty, first down. That's basically.
They don't put the hands up for 10 yards. They just say it and then point.
Well, there you go. I mean, I've been to a game recently. You would have thought I would have known, right? I wasn't paying attention to the ref. I was looking at the cheerleaders. All right.
Disgusting.
Okay, do you guys have any entrants for the Hall of Fame? Because I don't have any, because this was all put together like literally.
Not on the top of my head, no. Okay. All Arsenal players in existence.
All Arsenal players ever, including
Oleg Lusny.
Yeah, Oleg Lusny and Christopher Ray.
And Nelson Vivas.
All of them.
Okay, I've just had an idea.
Okay.
Talking about internationals and players also nearly there. Ian Wright versus Les Ferdinand.
Ooh. Okay, that's harsh because these are two very good players. Okay, I'm going to put... I don't know if I want to play this game because those are two very good players and I haven't got any... those are two very big players to take off of my shelf at some point, I
just threw an idea. I'm just trying the idea out.
Okay, this isn't an official... This is not an official Sacked in the Morning Hall of Fame.
I mean, it's obvious that the answer is, isn't it? Come on.
I think you're going to have to say Ian Wright.
Yes.
Right? I mean, he was Arsenal's top goal scorer.
That's the right answer.
Even though it took him like
Really?
4 times as long as
Thierry
Thierry Henry.
Henry did it in like 100 less games or something around that.
I remember it
amazing.
felt like ages that it took Ian Wright, and then Thierry Henry came in and did it in like a season.
And then when Ian Wright did it, I thought, I've never seen anyone break that.
Oh my god, that's so many goals! And then Thierry Henry came in and did it in like half a year.
It took Henry 6 years, but
it felt like so much quicker than it did with Wright. It felt like Wright.
Well, he did it in less games, but
did it in a lot less games.
And he revealed his T-shirt a goal too early as well.
He did.
No,
Good job he scored a hat-trick in that game.
He's like, I lost count. What? Yeah. I think Wright. He scored more. He won more. I think Wright was probably the better player, but I mean, Ferdinand is a good player as well. I think Ferdinand's massively underrated again because he played for Tottenham.
I just think some of the goals Ian Wright scored as well, I've got to go for him.
But I do think that Ian Wright, was a bit of a numpty sometimes. Like the stuff he did with Schmeichel, for instance.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
He had a mean streak in him. So did Bergkamp. So did most of that Arsenal team, to be fair.
That's probably why they won.
Yeah.
They got a lot of red cards in that. Well, when Wenger first took over.
Well, who are you picking then, Thelan?
I would say Ian Wright as well, but
clean sweep.
Unanimous for the Arsenal player, of course. Thank you.
No, I think when the time comes, I think it's probably Wright needs to go up against Henry or someone like that. I imagine,
Yeah, that's an interesting.
I don't think that was a very fair.
Yeah.
But no, I get it. I like both of them, and I think that they were both unfortunate to be born when they were really coming up in the era that they came up in. There was a glut of really good strikers.
Yeah, in the 90s, definitely. Same
never
with
really
Bobby Fowler as well.
Yeah. Which is a shame because, like, in the 2000s, we were, like, crying out for strikers. It was like, Emre Heskey again.
Yeah, that World Cup when Theo Walcott went.
Yeah.
and an injured Wayne Rooney. And Crouch.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me. Thelan, thank you for joining me.
It's all right. Pleasure.
Tom, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for joining me.
I'm glad you still remember that.
Well done to Ian Wright for entering the
He is not in the Sanctum Morning Hall of Fame. This was unofficial. He is not in there.
One thing I will say about Ian Wright, he recently turned 60, and that made me feel a bit old.
Wow, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I mean, it kind of makes sense because we're nearly 40.
Yeah, and he started his career really late as well. But it wasn't 23 when he broke in at Palace or something like that.
Yeah, he was a late start by his own admission. Yeah.
But yeah, that made me feel a bit old.
But he looks good for 60, so
yeah.
Well, on that sour note, like that big downer, the inevitability of death is creeping closer to all of us, and one day the heat death of the universe will claim us all. And until next time, thank you for listening, and take care, and try not to die from the inevitability of it all.
Life is just one long, big international break.
Oh, God.
And there's plenty more clubs out on the pool. Take it to the corner flag. No more questions from the local rag, or hiding from the angry